Welcome to Free Your Mind Reviews. This is Chris Johnson with a review of The Photograph. So, The Photograph is a romance film about a reporter who's doing some type of research article on New Orleans and catches a glimpse of a photograph of a young, beautiful black woman who's a photographer. Goes and meets her estranged daughter and falls in love with her. And in turn, the daughter gets some letters from her mother basically detailing her past and basically why she was the way she was. And we start to learn about the mother while at the same time watching the daughter go on this journey as she falls in love with the journalist. This is a harmless, fine movie, and of course, being black, it is 100% fantastic to see movies that are predominant and owned by black people, but they don't have to be about black issues. They could just be black, just because we are in it, it is ours, it belongs to us. I am of the camp that we don't get enough of those. Most black movies have to do with slavery or race issues, street gang, blah blah blah. It's great to get one that you literally could put any race in it, and that's the stuff I've been waiting to get. Where the movie is defined not by our traumas, but just by us and who we are as people. Now, having said that, the movie's fine. Does it have flaws? Yeah, sure, of course. But let's go to the positives first. I personally loved the mother's backstory. Could they have dived into it a little bit more? Yeah, sure. In fact, I'll be honest with you. If it was a whole movie just about the mom's backstory, I probably would have liked it even more. Or maybe if the movie was longer and we can get a little bit more about both sides of the spectrum and how they, really relate to each other. Like, think of it as like they were trying to do a romantic version of The Godfather Part 2. But The Godfather Part 2 is 3 hours. This movie's like, I don't know, hour 40, hour 50. So it was like, all right, something's going to be shortchanged a little bit. So that in the best performer in the movie for me is the actress who plays the mother at a young age. I thought she was great. And it was a pleasure to see a story about a young black woman whose desires for her work and desires for her success kind of mess up her personal life and what she wants to love and what she does love. Does she love her work more than her family? Does she love her work more than the love of her life? I find that very appealing because, as an artist, you do struggle with that. Wanting to be personable, wanting to be with people, wanting to have a life partner to share this with, but at the same time, you're so driven and you're so focused that you don't think you have the time for it. So that was the stuff that I found very appealing about the movie. That was the stuff I found the most appealing, as well as the actress, her performance. Now, Homeboy's relationship, the main romance that you see in the cover, the daughter and Issa Rae's character and Lakeith Stanfield's character, the romance part works. I can see it. It's a smooth, easy chemistry. I wouldn't really call it like full of heat or anything like that, but it's a cool, nice, smooth, easy chemistry, and it's easy to root for. Now, if the biggest flaw, now somebody said this in the theater, and it was kind of something that I was thinking while watching the trailer for the movie. Like, they showed the trailer for the movie a lot in the theater, the movies I go see, and if there was a problem, I felt like lead actress's dramatic side of her performance just wasn't as strong as when she was being courted by Lakeith's character. I feel like when it was time to get dramatic about them, talk about the mom, talk about her own insecurities, uh, she was quiet on the side of dull when it came to those scenes. Um, and I feel like she, having them both be quiet in those moments kind of it's better in my mind as a viewer to have a little bit more of a juxtaposition between the two characters who are in love with each other, and it more one character having more spunk and spark maybe than the other one, and for here maybe she could have been the one to have that because Homeboy was already doing such a good job as the charming stoic guy, you know. So just having a not as charming stoic woman, even though this woman does have charm if you've seen her other work, you know, I think that was a mistake to have it like that. But but at the same time, I feel like the strongest part of the movie is still all the stuff with the mother in the flashbacks, and in particular how she relates to her mother and her mother's revelations and does my mother love me and all that stuff. I found that stuff to be pretty interesting. So there are different things to look forward to in this film. I actually think the romance works when it's not trying to be overly dramatic. And I like I like how it's shot. I love the mother's backstory and her issues and her desires, and I thought that was very interesting and pleasant to see. And it's more of a positive than a negative. It's a flawed, but I think ultimately fine movie.